Carolina Senator Richard Burr, Chairman of the Senate Intel Committee, with me now. And Senator, good morning to you. We're trying to follow this and figure it all out. What is your reaction so far on the events that you have watched unfold before your eyes?
Well, Bill, it's always tough when it's unfolding like it is now, but here's what we know. Horrific attacks in both cases. Press reports that probably will be confirmed that the brothers had a direct connection to al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, were trained, had attempted, possibly went to Syria and got additional training, and carried out a horrific act that was intended to maximize bloodshed, which they did. And in addition to the attack, an assassination of a police officer, and different than the lone wolves we've seen over the last several months.
How so?
These two intended not to be captured or identified. Their faces were covered. They had an escape plan. Quite frankly, if Saeed hadn't have left his ID in the car they abandoned, we might not know who they are today.
That's a good point about this was not a suicide mission. They got into that newspaper.
Not by any stretch of the...
Right, they got into the newspaper, Senator, and they got out and they went on the run to flee for their own lives. And let's see how this unfolds and whether or not they come out with their lives now. But they were also known, not just to French authorities, but to U.S. authorities. They were on our no-fly list, Senator.
Bill, we've got a lot of people on the no-fly list because of the information we received from our foreign partners, and I'm sure that was the case in France. The French have an unbelievable task in front of them relative to foreign fighters coming back in, and as they put it, the importance on who they surveil and for how long. It's easy to understand how Sharif and Saad might have been dropped from permanent surveillance. They certainly had the information on them. We had put them on the no-fly list. We're going to learn more with every hour that unfolds, but the important thing is that I believe this has now triggered our intelligence community and our partners around the world to really dig through every database they've got, to look at the contacts that they might have made now that we've got their cell phone numbers, now that we've got personal information. We're going to be able to connect more of the dots and to figure out whether there are other places in the world and here at home that we should be concerned with.
Yeah. Do you think we have a plan for that? Are you satisfied with the strategy?
Bill, we've got the best counterintelligence community in the world here. We've got the greatest partners around the world. They're all on the same page, but I point you to the director of MI5 who gave a speech in the last 24 hours who said that they clearly understood that the terrorists were committed to create havoc, a mass casualty event somewhere in the West, either in Europe or the United States, and it was imminent. This may be the thing that triggers it. We don't know. It may be that the second shooting in Paris was triggered just by the fact that the first one happened, or we're going to find out there was some coordination. This ought to concern everybody, and it concerns our intelligence community, but this is the opportunity, hopefully, to get additional information if we can capture any of them. I don't believe they want to go down as martyrs, and it may be that the French can talk one or both into custody.
The head of MI5 is a fellow by the name of Andrew Parker, and he was talking this week with a select group of Royal United Services Institute at the London headquarters. And what he said was this, Senator, quote, "We know, for example, that a group of core al-Qaeda terrorists in Syria is planning mass casualty attacks against the West. Perhaps that's in France, maybe that's in Britain, perhaps that's here, Senator."
That's exactly right. And I think our intelligence community sees this as an opportunity to seize on additional data that we get from the French and that we get from these three suspects that are currently in a hostage situation, and potentially see if that connects to anywhere in Western Europe and in the United States. Bill, this is a classic operation for the intelligence community. We start with a little bit of data, a little bit of information. It extends as far as we might possibly do it. And let me just say, this is the reason that keeping data for a number of years is important. The alleged trip for Saeed to Yemen was in 2011. And I think it's understandable why the French might have surveilled him for a year or 2 years, didn't see anything to be concerned with, and decided current people returning from the fight in Syria might have been more important. I'm not sure, but we'll all know at the end of this exactly the decisions that were made.
Senator, thank you for your time. And you mentioned the head of MI5. It's an address that's getting a lot of attention, especially now in light of what we're watching here. Richard Burr from North Carolina, thank you, sir. What he said in a